We're going to be asking the questions. Join us for a battle of the dads. Stay with us. What's New starts right now.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
Hi, Northeast Ohio. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Happy Friday Eve. That's what we love to call Thursday. Yes. Jay and I have had such a busy day already.
We've already ridden the steel vengeance. That was so fun.
Yeah, you'll get to hear more about Cedar Point tomorrow. And that being said, tomorrow is going to be a very interesting weather day, too. We have some thunderstorms that we have to talk about. Matt Standridge is in. He will give us the lowdown and give us timing on what could be a pretty big evening for us.
All right. We'll wait very anxiously to hear from that. In the meantime, great to be with you again, Northeast Ohio. Gorgeous day. And, yeah, we're going to talk more about that Cedar Point thing. It was a blast. But we begin today at 5 with Governor Mike DeWine announcing that he will lift the COVID state of emergency. He's going to do that tomorrow. We also announced that residents at nursing homes and assisted living facilities will be allowed to now have more than 2 visitors at a time, and scheduling no longer required.
So many families happy about that. Well, this comes as we continue to see our daily COVID cases decline. Our 21-day average is now down to 396, and the number of people fully vaccinated in Ohio is up to 42%.
Vaccines have been a highly debated topic. You know that by now. Many companies across the country are requiring employees to get the vaccine, and now one local company is doing that as well. A
former employee at Malley's Chocolates told 3 News' Monica Robbins the company is now requiring the employees to get the vaccine or they may be fired. Well, obviously, Monica joins us now on this. This is a hot topic. There's a lot of folks that are keeping an eye on the precedent that's being set with this. So is this legal?
Well, let me get to that in a second.
Okay.
Let me explain to you what we know first. Yeah, Brianna Sherfy says she left Malley's a couple of months ago for a few reasons, but the vaccine mandate was definitely the one that pushed her out the door. I spoke briefly this morning to Mike Malley, who declined to discuss the company policy, but I also spoke with 2 current employees who confirm they are required to be vaccinated, and all new hires are too. Now, Sherfy provided me with a company email that outlined the policy that said employees must either establish that they've received the vaccine or obtain an approved exemption. Those who did not comply within 15 days of that mid-May notice risked losing their job.
It's a little scary to think, would I be losing my job if I wasn't vaccinated? Would I be laid off? And that was one of the things I do remember in the email was if you weren't vaccinated, you would be at a leave of absence until you were either set with an appointment or you were vaccinated, which I thought was very, not fair.
So Sherfy declined to be on camera, but did allow me to use her name and voice. She is unvaccinated currently, but says she would have had no issue with the mandate if the vaccine was FDA approved. When that happens, she says that's when she'll be getting vaccinated. But she also understands why Malley's did this, because safety is a priority for the company, and this mandate applies to employees and vendors alike.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
Now we've spoken before with our resident attorney. Stephanie, of course, is a lawyer, and I know this is tricky space, but is this legal?
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, it is legal.
It is definitely legal. Yeah, Malley's email also followed the law. So according to the Ohio State Bar Association, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, the EEOC, the guidance says employers can require their employees to receive the COVID-19 vaccine, but employers must make exceptions for employees' religious and disability accommodations in accordance with the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the Americans with Disabilities Act, and the Ohio Civil Rights Act. And you can bet a lot more companies will begin doing this, especially after that vaccine gets FDA approval. But there's still a lot of questions because people want to know, well, can I sue my employer if I had an adverse reaction? And the question is, we don't know yet. Sure, anybody can sue for anything, but whether or not that lawsuit is going to be successful is a whole other question.
Right.
We are definitely in uncharted territory right now.
Wow, something to watch for sure. I know there's a lot of eyeballs on it, including yours.
Yep.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Monica.
Thanks, Monica.
Well, now on your feet at 5, in exactly 2 weeks, expired driver's licenses in Ohio will no longer be valid. Now, remember when the COVID restrictions started up. Well, the expired licenses have been allowed by the Ohio BMV since March of last year after an emergency law was signed at the height of the pandemic. COVID caused BMVs to close statewide for months. So Governor DeWine signed House Bill 404. That gave folks more time to renew their driver's licenses and plates, temp tags, ID cards, and get an e-check. Well, DeWine signed the law to limit the number of people who crowded into the BMV, which would help to cut down on COVID exposure. That extension will be up on July 1st. The BMV says whatever you do, don't wait till the last minute.
Probably about 400,000 individuals still have not renewed that license or registration and have taken advantage of that deadline. So those 400,000 folks will have to come in on top of our, normal close to 1 million customers a month. So we're going to be see a very busy July, busy June.
You heard that right. 1,400,000 people are going to be getting in line at the BMV. Now, pack your patience. The closer it is to that July 1st deadline, chances are the longer you're going to have to wait. The grace period only applies to drivers whose licenses expired between March 9th of last year and April 1st of this year. I find that so interesting, and I do want to point out and let everybody know you can get in line online.
Oh,
the
that's great.
BMV website, they have a little spot where you click on it and you can get in line online. Saves a lot of time.
That is definitely a time saver. All right, yet another mall operator is facing difficulty as a result of the pandemic. The owners of Great Lakes Mall filed for bankruptcy, leaving many wondering what the future holds for the mall there. Brandon Simmons spoke to city leaders who are confident in what the future holds.
People are back in stores and states are well on the way back to normal, but businesses that have suffered over the last year are still hurting. Just days ago, Washington Prime Group, the owners of Great Lakes Mall in Mentor, filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, as many have been forced to do. City leaders say they got a heads up.
We were aware of it long before the announcement was made. We have actually been in close contact with many of the representatives from Washington Prime.
Based on those conversations, City Manager Kenneth Filipiak believes the mall is here to stay, one of the hallmark locations under the Washington Prime umbrella.
Some businesses come and some go, but the attraction to the Mentor Market has remained, and that'll continue because it's a great environment in which to do business.
In a statement, Washington Prime Group said in part, it's business as usual at Great Lakes Mall. Continuing, the company has determined that the Chapter 11 path is the most effective step to resolve the company's outstanding indebtedness as we emerge from the pandemic, end quote. The Mentor area has served as a hub for retail in northern Ohio for years, boasting an overall 92% occupancy rate of retail establishments, including the mall, a number that didn't fluctuate much during the pandemic.
Retail isn't going anywhere. Certainly, the pandemic changed a lot of people's habits, and it will take some time for those to come back.
By restructuring company debt, the mall's owner hopes to stick around as that comeback continues. And with any luck, Great Lakes Mall won't end up on the chopping block like other malls that have shut down.
They have every interest not only in sustaining it, but investing in it.
Now, if you're looking for another assurance, Filipiak says they've also been in talks with Washington Prime Group about additional projects on mall property. So clearly, they're thinking growth, not closings, Jay.
All right, well, it's good to hear that because certainly so many malls have fallen victim to the online shopping craze. Yeah, Brandon Simmons, live tonight on What's New. Brandon, thanks.
The deal that sounds so good when you first click subscribe, right? Now the question is, how do you unsubscribe? If you've tried to unsubscribe from something online, you know that companies can make you jump through all kinds of hoops. Well, this week, a group of bipartisan senators introduced a bill to make it easier for all of us to cancel online subscriptions. It addresses what's known as the negative option billing. That's where you sign up for a free trial. It automatically charges you a full price subscription when the trial is over. But companies rarely notify customers when that free trial is over. You got to mark it on the calendar. That's what I do. Others let customers sign up online, but then require them to call customer service to cancel. This bill would allow you to cancel the same way that you signed up. It also requires companies to give consumers a clear understanding of the terms and give them notice when their trial is complete before charging the full price. price. This could save a lot of frustration for some folks. Some reports say there is companion legislation that is being introduced in the House as well.
All right. So we talk about common sense.
Yeah.
Legislation. We do that all the time here. I would like to propose another bill. By the way, none of my bill proposals have ever made it to the House.
Not yet.
Not yet. But here's my proposal, Bets. And again, this is all consumer protection based. Here's the way I would make it mandatory. When you opt in, you get a notification 30 days from that original opt-in. Would you like to continue this subscription? That should be mandatory. So I think it shouldn't be incumbent upon you to remember when that 30 days is up and to opt out. I think we should, again, every 30 days have the option, yes or no. If we like the service and it's a good enough service, we'll likely opt in.
Well, that's what this bill does. It says give them notice when the trial is complete before charging the full price. So you've been already, your idea is already out there. I'm sorry.
I hope so, but doesn't that seem like it's common sense? Why was that ever not a thing?
I have no idea. But yeah, I love the idea of actually it's on the company. They're the ones with all the fancy computer stuff. It's all just a keystroke to them.
Yeah.
And
I have had impossible scenarios where you just can't get out of it.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait a minute, well, how did I get into this?
why?
Yeah, I'll never use those vitamins
so
again.
Good when I signed up.
All right, coming up next on What's New, 4 siblings separated their entire lives. This is a crazy story. The new connections that they're forging that are 60 years in the making and their search for yet another sibling.
And later, way more than angel wings. How Ohio-based Victoria's Secret is finding new ways to make a real difference.
And Matt Standridge is in for Matt Wins today. Matt, on my judging scale, today's a 5-star day.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect.
And that's going to change, though. Tomorrow, you might have a 1-star day. Big time difference. So if you're out this evening, make sure you enjoy it. If you're headed out to maybe get dinner tonight, a great evening to do so. We'll be in the 70s. We're in the 70s for some of us now, a mix of 70s and 80s. So great outdoor dining forecast tonight. Tomorrow night, it may not be so nice. Thunderstorms in the forecast. In fact, a level 3 out of 5 storm risk is in place for much of northeast Ohio. We'll have that forecast for you coming up.
Reconnecting, our series bringing separated families together again has brought many happy results, but every search is a little different, and not everyone has a happy ending.
Yeah, tonight, Lindsay Buckingham shares the story of siblings searching for their missing brother. And a note as you watch this, one of the siblings did not want to participate in the story, and that's why we have hidden her identity.
It's a story more than 60 years in the making, and a sensitive one, because these three siblings have been searching for their brother Eddie for years.
We've been down a lot of roads and a lot of those paths with no success.
Jeanette Messino and her siblings, Priscilla Amick and Art Mabry, are 3 of 6 children born out of wedlock to their mother, Doris Newland. They say their mom gave away all but 2 children for others to raise in Northeast Ohio. One of them was Eddie.
When I was adopted, my adopted parents were very honest with me. Told me I was adopted, told me I had a brother Eddie, told me I had a sister, Jeanette.
Art says he grew up playing with his brother, but there was a twist.
I was sworn to secrecy, not to share with him who I really was.
Keeping that kind of secret from his brother was too hard.
The last time I saw Eddie was when I came home from Vietnam. I went over to see him, and we went out, had a hot dog and root beer, and he started asking me questions. I went home that day and told my mother that I was not going back until somebody told him who I was. It wasn't my position to tell him.
Art was just 19. He hasn't seen his brother since. In fact, he doesn't even remember Eddie's last name.
And there's nobody you can think of that might know that information.
My parents would have that information, but they're both deceased. You know, it's one of those things, hindsight's 20/20. I wish I would have asked.
Jeanette also knew of Eddie.
I remember perhaps anywhere from 4 to 6 years old, I heard my adoptive mother on the phone. I was sort of listening, and I heard her mention that there was another child.
But other than his existence, Jeanette knew nothing else, and Priscilla, who was one of 2 children raised by their mother, was in the dark until 2013.
I didn't know I had any siblings. I got a letter from Jeanette's lawyer, and it just said, in fact, I brought it in here with me. It just said, I have been asked by a longtime client of mine to make contact with you to determine if you would be interested in meeting certain other members of your family.
The reunion 8 years ago only strengthened their will to find their brother. We put our search angels, Janet Renardo Travis and Lynette Caton Bryan, on the case. But without a name or DNA, it may be too hard to solve. All that's left is a public plea from siblings, desperate to reconnect with Eddie.
Well, first of all, Eddie, if you're watching this, you probably don't know me as Art, because my mother insisted that I be referred to as Arthur Lee.
Ed, we all would love to meet you. Hopefully one day we can. We've all tried to find you.
We will respect whatever your decision and your choice will be, but know that you are deeply loved.
Lindsay Buckingham, 3 News.
Now, here's where you can help. If you know anything about Eddie, the brother of Jeanette, Art, and Priscilla, please email reconnection@wkyc.com. Pretty incredible story, isn't it? Well, we do have a lot to talk about as far as this forecast goes, Matt. We mentioned it yesterday. Now we are day 2 that we have this threat coming as we go through the day tomorrow. The setup is definitely looking like we've got some rough weather ahead.
In fact, you know, we've been talking for hours throughout this afternoon. There are a lot of different factors coming together, and it's just crazy how much of a difference we're going to be experiencing from now until tomorrow. Right now, we have mostly clear skies. Things have been great towards the southern Great Lakes. Barely a cloud in the sky, a couple high-level clouds here and there. We're watching our next system across the plains right now. Some showers and thunderstorms in Minnesota and Wisconsin. And there's a lot of different things coming together with this forecast. The main culprit for our stormy forecast will be this warm front. This thing will be moving towards northeast Ohio. And by the afternoon, it's going to be sparking some showers and thunderstorms. After we get some of these showers from Wisconsin, those will come in overnight tonight. But let's take the radar off, take the satellite off. Let's talk about the weather setup specifically. There's that front. As it moves towards Ohio, it's going to do a couple things. It's going to help increase the humidity. It's also going to help warm up our temperatures, some good ingredients to fire up some of these thunderstorms. As this warm front arrives into northeast Ohio, we'll be watching some thunderstorms popping up right along the front. Storms love to pop up right along a warm front, and then over time, they'll form a line and then head south. A lot of us across the Buckeye State will have that chance for a thunderstorm tomorrow. In fact, when you're looking just at severe risks from the Storm Prediction Center, we're at a level 3. You see that orange color all the way from Dayton to Columbus and then right here into northeast Ohio. I think for us, the strongest threats will be just west and south of downtown Cleveland, but we're still in a level 2 for much of the snow belt. So everyone has a chance for these strong thunderstorms. They just might have a little bit more of a higher intensity just west of Cleveland. We'll be watching those very closely. I'm going to step to the side for a second because there's a lot of information going on, but I want to break this down for you. When we have these thunderstorms popping up tomorrow afternoon and evening, we want to talk about the timing and we want to talk about the threats. When they first start popping up, we have all modes of severe weather that will be possible, especially damaging wind and maybe even some hail. There is a tornado threat as well. As we go later into the evening, after 6, 7 o'clock, the tornado threat starts to go down, but then we have a strong damaging wind risk that will be coming with some of these storms. They'll fire up in a line and they'll head south, and a lot of us will have that damaging wind threat. I want to show you what we're talking about on the National Zyme hour-by-hour forecast. Overnight tonight, nothing happened. We're good. Now, by tomorrow morning, there may be a couple showers. Holly's going to be tracking them for you tomorrow morning. Throughout the middle part of the day, though, we'll be watching partly cloudy skies. If we get enough sunshine to help heat things up, we'll be in business for some thunderstorms. You see them starting to form along Lake Erie shores, especially west. These are when they're going to be kind of spaced out a little bit, and then over time, they'll start to form a line and head towards the south and east. When they're in that line, they could have some damaging winds. So we'll be watching that very closely. Here's your Union Home Mortgage 7-day outlook. Guys, you're going to want to be tuned in for the rest of the evening because we're going to have several things coming your way when we're talking about timing and threats. But tomorrow's going to be a severe weather day, especially in the evening hours, and then more chances for a few storms coming in this weekend. Pop break is next.
Will Smith is adding yet another project to his to-do list. Victoria's Secret, ditching the Angels. And Naya Rivera's ex-boyfriend remembers her as we approach the one-year anniversary of her death. Here's Kiara Cotton with your Thursday Pop Break.
It's been nearly 1 year since the tragic death of actress Naya Rivera. In a recent interview, her ex Taj Mowry paid tribute to her life. The two actors dated for 4 years in the early 2000s, and according to the Smart Guy actor, no one has ever come close to his first everything. He told the magazine he's still in touch with her family and that he has a difficult time talking about her death because he knows the weight that they've had to carry with her loss. He ended saying, "Much love to her entire family, her brother, her sister, her child, and her ex-husband as well." Rivera was confirmed dead in July of 2020, 5 days after disappearing while on a lake trip with her 5-year-old son, Josie. She was 33 years old. Victoria's Secret is changing its formula. The longtime lingerie retailer is doing away with its signature angel wings and trading it in for 2 new initiatives, the VS Collective and the Victoria's Secret Global Fund for Women's Cancers. The collective, led by brand ambassadors who share a passion for creating change, will help create new programs, product lines, and content while also supporting causes vital to women. The women leading the way include Priyanka Chopra, Megan Rapone, Ellen Gu, and many more. The company CEO said, "This is a dramatic shift for our brand, and it's a shift that we embrace from our core. These new initiatives are just the beginning." And Will Smith is one busy man. Between getting back in shape and working on a reimagined Fresh Prince, the longtime movie star has signed on to host and produce a comedy special for Netflix. The streaming platform announced the news yesterday, saying the hour-long program will feature guest stars, comedy sketches, noteworthy conversation, and music. The special will launch globally on Netflix later this year.
Listen, in my book, Will Smith can do no wrong, so I'll definitely be checking that out. Jay and Betsy, do you guys have a favorite Will Smith role?
Fresh Prince.
Muhammad Ali. He nailed it. When I heard he was playing Muhammad Ali, I'm like, there's no way, he's too thin. I went to the theater, and within 3 minutes, I forgot it was Will Smith.
Yeah.
He just absolutely crushed the role of Muhammad Ali.
He's great at transforming himself for those roles.
Physically, and it was incredible.
Yeah.
He can act.
But
Thank
the
you,
Fresh
Kira.
Prince, though. I mean,
that's a classic.
Well, that's the one that started it all. I mean, and we all know every single word of the song.
Yeah, I know.
But I'm not going to sing it, so don't ask me.
Thank you, Kira. Appreciate it. He'll sing to you later. Coming up on the next half hour of What's There, she's probably going to sing to all of us. New changes are coming to Ohio fairs and festivals. We'll be telling you about the new safety measurements in effect to protect your kids.
And the Indians are red hot. I'm going to tell you what they did today that they haven't done in 33 years. Pretty impressive. What's News coming right back.
Can the Orioles...
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
And we begin at 5:30 with three things you need to know. 2 weeks from today, Ohio drivers can no longer get away with having those expired driver's licenses. The state has allowed expired license since last March because of COVID, but no more. Governor DeWine signed the bill to limit the number of people that were in the BMV and cut down on possible exposure. The extension, though, ends July 1st. The grace period only applies to drivers whose license expired between March 9th of last year and April 1st of this year.
And late this afternoon, President Biden signed the Juneteenth National Independence Day Act into law. It officially makes Juneteenth a federal holiday. June 19th celebrates the end of slavery when General Gordon Granger arrived in Texas to tell enslaved African Americans the Civil War is over and they were free. This will be the 11th federal holiday and the first new one since Martin Luther King Jr. Day, which was created in 1983. A lot of businesses already calling for the day off.
And number 3, our Cleveland Indians are red hot. They won again today, make it 4 straight over the Baltimore Orioles. Jose Ramirez, Bobby Bradley both went yard in the first inning. That got the Tribe off and running, and they never looked back, winning 10-3. So they take all 4 from the Orioles. And how about this stat, Betsy? This is the first time since 1988, that's 33 years, that the Indians swept a 4-game series against the Orioles. They did that at the old Municipal Stadium.
Oh, wow.
That's how long it's been. The Tribe now just 4 games behind the White Sox for first place in the Central. And how about this stat? This surprised me. They now have the best record at this point of the season since 2007, which is surprising because I thought in 16 we had such a great year.
They get off to slow starts,
Typically
though.
they
that
do.
That was the thing, like the
But
April
wow.
ball. Yeah, April
Man.
was always the horrible month, and then May we would like start to go, and then June it was like we'd take off and
We've
get going.
got Roberto Perez, Franmil Reyes, and Plesac also on the DL, ready to come back anytime now. The fact that we're only 4 games behind this juggernaut White Sox team, it's pretty impressive.
Bieber's still out, too.
And we have Bieber out for at least another start.
It's kind of a big deal.
That's a really big deal. All right, welcome back to What's New. I'm Jay Crawford alongside Betsy Kling.
Tell you what, we are 3 days away from summer officially starting, but I think the weather forecast kind of has it in mind that we are still in spring. It's been pretty calm, knocking on plexiglass, that we have not had too much bumpy weather, but it looks like tomorrow we have bumpy weather coming. Matt Standridge has some more information to give us on that coming up in just a little bit. But now we move on to our top talker, and sports fans are excited to be able to watch in person once again. In Akron, that means professional golf is back. Our Will Ewick took the trip to Firestone Country Club in Akron, where the Bridgestone Senior Player Championship will return next week, and it appears the course is ready.
Having won at Firestone, I just know that I can win just about anywhere now.
Last year's winner of the Bridgestone Senior Players Championship, Jerry Kelly, is coming to Akron hot off a win last week and hoping to repeat here. Things will be a little different this time around, though, as last year, due to the pandemic, fans were prohibited from attending. And even in golf, fans make a difference.
The sheer amount of energy you get from the cheers and the roars is incredible.
Despite the lack of fans last year, the tournament, which raises money for local charities like the food bank and hospitals, was still able to donate over $770,000.
With our sponsors that knew what we were going to do with the funds, they said go ahead and keep the money, even though we didn't have fans.
It's a number they're hoping to surpass this year as they prepare the course once again with stands and build-outs and welcome back ticket holders.
Ticket sales have been great. We know there's a lot of pent-up demand.
And after a year with no fans, the tournament is expecting more fans than usual this year. One, everyone's been cooped up for so long. They're looking for events, looking to get outside. But two, they've added events outside for them with the addition of live music after the rounds for 3 of the nights, as well as food trucks, really taking a golf event and turning it into a party.
So a little bit of something for everybody. You know, we have the great golf fans, but we will get some other people out as well. And we know when they come out, we raise money for charity, so it's a win-win for everybody.
All in, they've surpassed more than $30 million in total charitable givings during the 67 years of professional golf at Firestone. They've also seen their fair share of fantastic and not so great golf shots in those 76 years. For the returning champ, he has one hole in particular circled on his card.
I am going to the fairway on the 8th hole this year. I I am. I know I am.
In Akron, Will Ewick.
I'm going to get it this year. That is my goal.
3 News.
He must have missed it a lot last year.
I love that course. I know you've played it too, you know, and when you play the South course, those beautiful long fairways, and you think, oh, I got this.
Yeah. It looks so easy from the tee box.
Because you end up outside of those fairways, and then it's game off from there. And if you've never been down to Firestone Country Club, try the North course. Yeah.
Not for the faint of heart.
I think I went through about 4 sleeves of golf balls.
Yeah, you can lose them easily there.
I'm not even kidding.
You can lose them very easily there. It's funny, they mentioned something in the piece that is so true. They said, you know, we're trying to turn it into a little bit of a party.
Yeah.
20 years ago, that would have been absolutely never. No.
It's the golf clap.
But I'll tell you what's happened, and I think the Phoenix Waste Management Open has changed this. They, for whatever reason, were always the rowdy stop on the tour. And they build these stadium stands around all the greens. It is the most lively golf tournament I've ever attended. More and more, I see that vibe carrying over, and it is great for the sport.
Yeah.
Because as you know, a lot of the spectators like to sip a pop or two. And it's tough to be quiet when you're having a couple of pops.
Sponsors.
But now the atmosphere is more party, and the attendance is going up.
And we cannot negate the Happy Gilmore effect.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's face it. Adam Sandler's the one who really revolutionized it.
All right, still ahead on What's New. Browns coach Kevin Stefanski reveals how many Browns players have had their COVID vaccine.
Then it's the Battle of the Dads. That's right, the dads. Brandon Simmons joins Jay for a special edition of Throwdown Thursday. Plus, we have some special guest hosts. And of course, we're keeping a very close eye on that forecast for tomorrow, Matt. But boy, outside right now, easy peasy.
You can't beat what we're experiencing right now. Mostly clear skies over downtown. It won't be that way tomorrow. Thunderstorms are in the forecast. Right now, we're sitting in the 70s, a couple 80s. Tonight, we'll dip into the mid 60s. But then tomorrow, we have that level 3 severe risk, especially for the evening. It's not every day you get a level 3 severe risk out of 5. More on that details. It's coming up.
Hey, you got something to say? What? Yeah? Can can you say Happy Father's Day? Love you, Grandpa.
Oh.
Oh.
That is just, she melts my heart.
Those
Bets.
eyes.
Hayes Marie, she absolutely melts my heart. Now, her mommy did 30 years ago.
Right.
And has every day since.
Yeah.
But that little one, she's something else.
So Kirsten said, Grandpa, what happened to J-Pop?
Oh, look, we'll take that in stages. Right now, everything's light. She loves light. She always looks up and she points, light, light. So, we'll take the words as they come.
We like the light, definitely. We like seeing the sunshine that we have seen today.
That was great.
That is such a nice treat for us. Not quite as nice a treat as a little video vignette of Hayes. But I'll tell you what, it has just been gorgeous today. And Matt Standard joins us now. Matt, things are setting up to get a little bit, a little finicky as we go through the day tomorrow. A lot that still can change, but as things are going to be moving along, we definitely have a bit to talk about.
For sure. A lot of things are coming together for Storms. Did you also see his granddaughter had the remote ready to watch her grandpa on TV?
And an Elmo.
And Elmo.
We'll ask about that later.
Oh, we will.
Elmo's are jam. I'm telling you.
I love it. Hey, so big time changes on the way. We have springtime storms coming in tomorrow. This evening, everything's great. If you want to head outside, the weather's not going to be concerned at all. We're sitting in the 70s and 80s, but we're watching that warm front towards our west. That's our big next weather maker coming in, and that'll arrive tomorrow afternoon, sparking showers and thunderstorms. A big difference from what we're getting right now with those mostly clear skies. Tomorrow is a very interesting day. We're going to talk about timing here in a second, but we're going to get some clouds and maybe some showers in the morning. In the afternoon, if we can break up the clouds and get some sunshine, our temperatures are going to get into the mid 80s. And if we can do that, that'll give us enough fuel for some of these thunderstorms that are going to be popping up later into the evening hours. We'll be a little bit warmer tomorrow than we were today, actually. We got to the low 80s this afternoon. We'll hit some mid 80s tomorrow. All right, here's the breakdown. Tomorrow morning, we'll get a couple showers, maybe in a quick rumble of thunder. We'll start off with some clouds. The reason why there's some thunderstorms are going to be happening towards Chicago tonight, and they'll arrive here in Cleveland in the early morning hours. Holly's going to track those for you tomorrow. In the middle part of the day, we get a break from 10 to 2 o'clock. Not much going on. The humidity, though, is going to be on the rise as that warm front pushes through. And then things start to get very interesting between 2 to 5 o'clock, and probably especially just after 4 o'clock. We'll be watching some thunderstorms popping up. And some of these could be potentially strong to severe. We'll be watching those very closely. Later into the evening hours, by about 5 to 6 o'clock, these cells that pop up may form a line and then march across northeast Ohio, giving us a damaging wind threat. And then later into the evening hours, we should get some leftover rumbles of thunder, but the severe threat will start to wane as we go past sunset. But here's what we can expect for the thunderstorms. Yes, we have all modes of severe weather that would be possible. However, there's a limited tornado hail threat early, right after 4, 5, 6 o'clock. But the biggest threat I think all of us need to be aware of is that most of us could get some widespread damaging winds. And a lot of times that can be much more impactful than one tornado, right? And there's also flash flooding potential because there's going to be a lot of water in some of these thunderstorms. Here's your National Zymar hour-by-hour forecast. Overnight tonight, we're clear, nothing going on. Tomorrow morning, some of those clouds, maybe a couple showers. Things get interesting, though, for the afternoon. We'll be watching these pop-ups, especially for the western half of Lake Erie. Some of these could try to turn severe, and then notice they start to form a line, and they march across Ohio. So we'll be watching that very closely for your evening forecast tomorrow. We are under a level 3 out of 5 severe risk. This doesn't happen every day. So we're watching that very closely. And then, Betsy and Jay, we still have more chances for storms, although they probably won't be as potent, but we could have some for Saturday, and maybe even 1 or 2 on Sunday. We'll be watching those closely, but the biggest severe threat happens tomorrow, and it happens mainly after 4 o'clock.
Yeah, there's definitely some bumpy weather in that Union Home Mortgage forecast. It's going to be super humid, super warm, and then back to the nice, cool, calm weather. So we'll take it. All right, Matt, thanks a lot. See you in a bit.
All right now it's time to see what is clicking in Cleveland, and for that we go to our digital anchor, Stephanie Haney. Stephanie, a very good Thursday afternoon to you. What's clicking?
To you, Jay, and to everybody at home. You know, we are looking at fair season coming up, and this is the first time that Tyler's Law will require those new ride safety checks. Now, this is named for Tyler Jarrell. He died in 2017 after being thrown from a ride at the Ohio State Fair. Want to make sure that doesn't happen again. So now rides will have a required number of yearly inspections, and operators will have to keep those records for as long as the ride is running. If it's sold, they have to share those records with the new owner, and the owners will also have to keep track of any places the ride has been stored for 30 days or more, among other things. Just a few of those safeguards. All right, Cleveland Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski has confirmed that most of the players on the roster are vaccinated against COVID-19. This is after an NFL Network report that more than 51 on the 90-man roster had gotten their shots. Stefanski said he won't get into who is and who isn't, but that the team will continue to educate players on how getting vaccinated can help them and their families, and that it's a competitive advantage because we now know vaccinated players this season, they don't have to quarantine after high-risk COVID exposure. That's a big deal for the game time. All right, yesterday we had talked about helping out the kittens. Today, it's all about the pups. If you want to bring home a new furry friend to a forever home, adoption fees are reduced this weekend at the Cleveland City Kennel. Just look at all those precious pups that you could adopt for just $21 on Saturday and Sunday. We have the link to check out all of these adoptable pups at WKYC.com. And remember though, the normal adoption process is still in place and you do need an appointment to meet with your potential new best friend, Jay and Betsy. We've got the link set up for a meet and greet on those adoptable dogs at WKYC.com. I just want to take them all home with me. There are any left for anyone else.
That's the danger. Back to the Browns and the vaccination. It's an individual choice. Everybody has to make. But here's a cautionary tale. John Rahm was leading the Memorial on his way to winning when he was pulled off the course and told that he had tested positive. Payday for that event, $1.6 million for first place. That's a big business decision.
That's, yeah.
Give me the vaccine, baby.
That one probably hurt more than the shot itself.
I think so. Yeah.
Vaccine's free. That's a big payday.
It is free, and it allows you to compete.
All right. Thanks so much, Stephanie. See you again tomorrow. Well, everybody, it's time. Get ready. Throwdown Thursday. And we're letting the dads duke it out in a twist to this week's competition.
And later, a family of hawks with eggs ready to hatch make their home in a very dangerous place. How they were saved, and it is an incredible story when we show you something good.
Phone check. Oh yeah, it's time, everybody. We have a very special Throwdown Thursday for you today. It is the Battle of the Dads. So instead of Jay and me going head-to-head, Jay and Brandon are going to be going to duke it all out. Now, all the questions are Father's Day related. So Brandon, whoever buzzes in first gets to answer the question. Jay loves to ring the bell.
Okay.
The points increase based on the questions. I don't keep score.
All right.
So question 1, and by the way, one side note, I do want to let it be known, the leg lamp is not up for
Betsy has the leg lamp right now, and she's not giving it up.
The leg lamp is safely tucked in the weather center, and it is not
want
going
to
to
see
be
that in
moving
my
this week.
basement? Come on, I could put that in my basement.
That would look good in your live shot.
Negative. All right, here we go. Question 1. It is worth 1 point. 2 is worth 2 points, as we have said. All right, we have special guests who are going to be asking the questions.
Oh, wow.
And question number 1 comes from Jay's daughter, Kirsten.
All right.
What is the official flower of Father's Day? Is it A, carnation, B, rose, or C, orchid?
Wow, you're buzzing in on my daughter's question.
Wow.
Did I outbuzz Jay?
You did, because I'm not sure.
Well
I'm going to let you miss it.
I'm not sure either, but what's funny is I had carnation in my mind before it even popped up and before I heard it, so I'm just going to go with carnation, A.
No.
Already.
Do we let Jay guess?
I'm going to say orchid.
No, it's the rose.
Really?
Man,
yes,
so nobody
the
gets
rose.
credit for that.
The red rose signifies a living father, and a white rose honors one who has passed.
Oh, I never knew that.
So now you know. All right, here we go. Question 2 coming from Dave Chudowski's youngest daughter, London.
How much money is the average person expected to spend on their dad this Father's Day? A, $91, B, $174, or C, $214?
Come on, Trigger.
I'll go in. I'll go in.
How come you're so late on the buzzer?
My strategy this time was to let him miss so I could just coast to victory.
Just like I let you lose?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to say the middle one. Whatever, I'm going to say B.
174?
Yeah.
You would be correct.
Oh, come on.
It all adds up to $20.1 billion. So Father's Day is big bump. Big
Kids, you don't have to spend that much on me.
That's really a good number. I'm liking what I'm seeing on that.
Yeah, hey.
174, I'll take it.
You can do a lot with Tech Tuesday on that. All right, since Matt Wins couldn't be here today, he is going to be asking question number 3.
Alrighty.
Oh, hey guys, miss you this week while I'm on vacation. Got a question for you. True or false? There are 90 million dads in the United States.
Oh, wow.
Probably doing this exact same thing.
The first ring, little Wyatt there helping Dad.
It's a 50-50, right? I mean, true or false. So let's
True
see.
or false?
I'm going to go with true on that.
It's false.
Jeez, how many are there?
74.7 million dads.
All right, give Jay those few points there.
Yeah. So now it's 5-0. So you basically your back's against the wall, B.
Yeah, you got to get it
go,
right,
son. You got to go.
All right, I'm ready.
We have question 4 that is coming from Jay's son, Corey.
This will be good.
How many men were stay-at-home dads in 2020? 95,000, 110,000, or 215,000?
Oh, all right, Jay.
He's rubbing the beard. I think, knowing my son as I do, the little point to the camera was his sort of nonverbal cue to me that was the answer.
So unfair.
So the last one. I think he was speaking right to me, B. See if I know my son.
It's $215,000. And I think we should disqualify that answer. Brandon is done.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey, you know, you got that bond with your son. He was pointing, and that was his way of telling me, that's it, Dad.
All right, this last question's worth 100 points.
All right. And this last question
I'm okay with that.
is coming from Dave Chudowski's oldest daughter, Brooklyn.
Okay.
What year was Father's Day first celebrated on? A, 1910, B, 1924, or C, 1966?
I mean, it's up to you, B.
Do it.
You got to get this right.
Go ahead, Brandon.
It's for the win. I'm going to go with the middle one. Let's go with the middle. Let's not go with that one. Let's go with 1966. Let's not go with either one of those. Let's just go with the first answer. Can I get something?
Yes, you can. Actually, 1910 is correct.
Is someone feeding him the answer?
No.
He changed his mind twice.
I was very
It actually
unsure.
was
I couldn't come up with what I wanted on that one, Jay. I'm sorry, buddy. But 1910's right for 100 points, right?
Did he get it right?
In the end, yes.
Oh, that's crazy. I'll give you the win, though. But I just want to say this. How good looking are the Channel 3 offspring?
I know.
Right?
So
I mean,
cute.
those were all good looking people we just looked at
And
there.
those ponytails on Hayes.
Oh, shit. She's
Can't help
off
it.
And I
the
love that
charts.
Matt
All
is
right,
always
happy
being a dad.
Father's Day to both of you. Every dad is really a winner with us here on What's New, our family here. All right, we will be right back.
See you guys.
And we are going to be talking about birds. The mission to protect a family of red hawks from danger and the neighborhood from a nasty blackout. Then on What Matters Most at 6, how a local camp teaching kids tennis is not only serving lessons on the court, but in the classroom too. Such a boy. Well, Show Us Something Good today takes us to Strongsville, where saving a family of hawks is also saving a neighborhood from power outages. There's a red hawk nest up on a transformer in a neighborhood on Pearlview, right off 82, and the illuminating company realized something had to be done.
So they partnered with wildlife officials to protect the nest. They installed a new pole and another transformer right by it so they could power that one down, keeping the birds safe and eliminating any possibilities of power outages, and that's going the extra mile.
And those cams are so cool. That's what we were coming back. I said, Jay, you're such a boy, because we were talking about our city cam here. And
I want to operate that
He wants to
sometime.
operate it, and it would be all over the place.
We'll see you tomorrow at 5 from Cedar Point.
Hopefully, right? What Matters Most with Russ and Laura starts right now.
Now at 6, get vaccinated or lose your job. That from Cleveland chocolate company Malley's. We have employee reaction, plus what the law says. Also, state of emergency lifted.
We are now at the point where the state needs to stand back.
Governor DeWine says we no longer need the emergency order put in place at the beginning of the pandemic. What it means for you and your loved ones. Grace period over.
We're, ready for business. It's going to be a busy couple weeks though at DMV.
All those COVID extensions buying you extra time to get your driver's license and registration renewed are set to expire. What you need to know before you drive. And Game, Set, Match. The tennis program that's teaching kids more than just the game, how it's helping them excel in academics as well.
From the WKYC studios, this is What Matters Most.
Good evening, and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Russ Mitchell.
And I'm Laura Cascio. Get vaccinated or lose your job. That's the approach from one of Ohio's oldest companies tonight.
Malley's Chocolates is one of the first companies in Northeast Ohio requiring employees to be vaccinated against COVID-19. Our senior health correspondent